right. I am honored to introduce you to Dr. Bedi. Dr. Bedi was actually voted as the most admired and trusted woman in India by Reader's Digest, the Week magazine, and over the years.
If you remember, the first time I came back from US to India, this is almost 20 years back, and you were so gracious to help us set up PMI in India, and that really helped so many people's life, and that transformed. So 20 years of that relationship and working with your organization. Also, I had the privilege to work with Navjyoti India Foundation, which you have done amazing work for those needy people, children who can never afford to see the education which you. And by the way, I was on the launch which you just launched, that demonstration-based learning, experiential learning. I was on the call by that day. Do it because Dr. Bedi would like to answer the questions which you might have, Seema. And the book is all about compassion, empathy, and unleashing yourself. And she's the best example we could probably have in the world. But so it's a blessing, divine blessing today that you are with us on this occasion. So Seema, hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Payne. Thank you so much. Dr. Bedi, I cannot express my gratitude and that you are here today for this book launch. And I want to tell you that we have made international bestseller, and now we are pushing for #1 international bestseller book. So I am so blessed to have you here on this kind of occasion. And when we were thinking who would be best to open up, I've been talking about you all day. I was like, Dr. Bedi is the best person, because I'm doing this now, really stepping up into my power, really stepping up and doing something when it's so much easier. There's more acceptance. There's more opportunities in that. But you made all these things happen in India at a time where it was not so accepted over there. It's a lot better now in India too, but I mean, it's just been amazing. So I would really appreciate for our international audience, those who know you and don't know you, if you could share about your journey and what kept you to persevere, to just keep going forward in a male-dominated world.
I just wish to say that I live by a very important guidance given to me by my parents long ago when I was growing up. And it stayed with me, and it will stay with me till I breathe my last. And he said that life is on an incline. Either you go up or you come down. And if we understand this, that you are not just as every day is a new day, the sun rises and sets every day, the laws of nature work so naturally every day, so do the laws of life work every day. The fact is, one has a choice either to keep progressing in life. What do you mean by we are all aging? Every day, one day, we are closer to the end of our life. We are all moving towards, we were children, we were in primary school, then we went to secondary, we went to college, and we don't realize that. But actually, we don't believe, but we don't see. But internally, we keep growing. So I believe in this dictum, and I practice it every day. I try and add to my knowledge every day. I add to my skill every day. I add to my giving every day. I add to my fitness every day. I add to more of sharing every day. I add to be not selfish every day. The moment you are inching every day forward, you keep consolidating what you have in the past, but keep improving, which means by your little it's like inflation. If you don't save that extra, even in money, your money depreciates. Life depreciates. Life depreciates if you don't add quality to it on a daily basis. That's an awareness. So once you're aware that my life will depreciate if I do not add that extra to it, even if I want to be the way I was yesterday, I have to compensate for the depreciation. whether it's depreciation in energy, whether it's depreciation in finance, whether it's depreciation in knowledge, whether it's depreciation in fitness, because the body too is aging. And if you don't adjust, like the yoga, certain yoga asanas you can do when you are a child. You can be a gymnast when you're a child, but you can't be a gymnast at my age. So what you do, you transition to various other yogic practices which go with your age. But that's called life is on an incline. You keep going up or you come down. And in that up are all these domains which I've mentioned, be it fitness, be it knowledge, be in experience, be in sharing, giving, working, living, all this. This is what I believe in, and this has my philosophy of life completely.
That is amazing. I think between Dr. Sanjeev Chopra and what he said on happiness and the 4 F's, friends, family, and gratitude, and what you're saying, I think that just has bookend the whole day of really imbibing and moving forward. That's just amazing. What you've said that your parents have told you that our parents really guide us, but to actually be able to accept that as an individual, because my kids tell me, Mom, you tell me these things because you're my mother, you're supposed to. How do you really own that and move forward with that?
See, it is like you are being given a gift. You can drop it, you can keep it, and add a gift to it. It's like bricks. You buy bricks, you want to build more floors. You first are gifted a brick, but now you want to build a floor. What would you do? After you exhaust the bricks, you go buy more, because you know it's by bricks that you can build your house. So it's by after that understanding that what I've been gifted is a beginning of my journey, not the end of my journey. So whatever knowledge teachers give us, the books give us, is not the end of the journey. It is a beginning of a process. It's learning what to go next. That's your own. Now, if one refuses to learn or shies away from learning, then you decline. You decline in life and you live your life anyway. But the question is whether you will live your life by declining or you want to live by inclining. It's up to you. The choice is yours. That's the big difference between animal world and humankind. Animal world is very structured. It is fixed. It cannot go beyond a parrot will not become a lion, and a lion cannot fly like a parrot. They have their own domains, but the humankind can be both. Can have better choices. The difference between the animal world and the human world has been the choices it can exercise. It has choices. The point is, we had choices to fly, but we also contributed to COVID immensely because we could fly by speed and spread it with speed, right? Did the animal world did it? No, it didn't. It stays with its own domains. It heals within its own self. So what I'm saying, and that's why they're very segmented as a community of a people, of animals. I believe that that's what we need to understand. When you say, how did you continue to do it? The continuity is that you continue to exercise choices. I continue to exercise a daily choice that this is my new day today. Whatever right I did yesterday, till yesterday, I must do. And thereafter, I cover up the depreciation of yesterday. The loss of memory or loss of knowledge or loss of skill, I continue to furnish it, sharpen it. It's sharpening your axe in another way. Is you need to sharpen your axe every day if you have to be a good woodcutter. So I try to be a daily good woodcutter by sharpening my axe daily. That's a habit.
And that's a great habit. I remember that when I was reading Stephen Covey's years ago, he also talked about sharpening your axe, meaning upgrading your skills, learning what you're good at, and continue making that stronger. So many of us always focus on our weaknesses. And another way of looking at it is, what is your strengths, and focus on that. Dr. Bedi, today all day we've been talking about breaking free from limiting beliefs, breaking free from our challenges. When you were going through that journey of yours, what was that one thing that really surprised you about yourself as you were overcoming your obstacles?
Nothing surprised me. Why should it surprise me? When I am doing everything consciously. You see, even my sleep is conscious sleep. I choose to go to sleep. I just don't drop dead. I work through my day and I take up my bed and go to sleep. I choose to go to sleep, or I choose to keep awake. I think it's important that we choose our choices.
Right, right. What have you seen through COVID-19, this pandemic? There's been so much struggle, and I was in India part of doing that, and I was airlifted back here. And I think everything has been managed really well over there, where Modi ji has taken everyone, and everyone working, supporting, has taken on a really good path on managing this whole issue. But what have you noticed? A lot of people are saying that, nature has cleaned up a little, nature is taking a break, it's had enough, and people are able to see Himalayas, environmentally it's cleaned up. What is your view on the situation?
Well, in India, while people have taken time to understand the gravity of the matter, and their role in this is to maintain social distance, masking for themselves, and hygiene and sanitation, and all sections of society, rural, the urban, the rich, the poor, the educated, the illiterate, the children and the old, all are taking their own time to understand the gravity of the situation as it's hitting them. Those who are the best part has been the communication skill of our leadership here. Our Prime Minister of India has been a very good communicator in setting the journey, in informing people, in educating people. Now he kept informing us, he kept alerting us, he kept cautioning us, he kept uniting us. He brought, but now all those who understood the messaging saved themselves. Those who did not understand the message have become a victim, or they victimize others, because it's a transmissional, it's human transmission disease. So in this country, the states which are better administered, which means it has a better population, it's two-way, where its state is better administered medically and administratively, and people have also risen to the occasion, that state has recovered faster, or has less fatality, has less infection. Those states which have taken longer and created their own chaos are suffering, the suffering has prolonged. So this is what's happened in India. But the main thing in India has been the power of the communications by its leader, and also the power of yoga in India, where people have been practicing yoga at home. This year, on 21st of June, when we are celebrating International Day of Yoga, the theme is yoga at home, yoga with your families. Yoga is a lot of, it provides a lot of inner strength, inner balance, inner equanimity, and also exercises, also unites the whole body to function as one organism. So that's the strength of India. It's a civilizational strength. But everybody needs to understand and come on the same way. The faster we do, and remember, we are only 1.3 billion. That's the whole of population of Europe, whole of population of America, whole of population of Latin America, and Australia. What else do you want? It's like a continent. India is a continent. Therefore, the challenge is much, much higher. But we are all grappling with it in our own, with our own limited resources.
And you're absolutely right. It's been done in a very beautiful way. I mean, sometimes you have to use tough love and harshness to make sure people are getting things understood for their own good. And it's just been amazing. I was thoroughly impressed. And even on coming back, the way everything was managed, it was just beautiful. And I would like to invite—
Can I have the last question?
Yes. Upendra would like.
I can have the last question.
Sure,
because Seema, I have to move on.
Sure, no
I have to
problem.
move on to other things.
No problem. Upendra is here. He would like to ask the last question.
Yeah, I can see Upendra with me. So can I ask? Thank you, Seema. Nice seeing you after a long time.
Nice seeing you too. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Anu's still in America.
Yes. We're both actually after a long time, we're here together at the same place. We're in Dublin, California, near San Francisco now.
That's good. Lovely.
The education system had been built on so old system, right? Built on emotion, like intelligence based, right? When you're talking about experiential based learning, could you give the message to people? Is the reform required in the education system, or what is the need? Because you can't teach somebody by giving a book that this is how you swim or this is how you drive the car, right? So our Rishi Munis and those people in the back, right, ancient India, experiential learning was already there in the system. Where we lost it? What happened? I mean, it became
We lost.
So my question, so please.
Upendra, I think where we lost out on was self-learning. Our Rishi Munis were all self-educated. They had a guru, but they self-educated. What we lost out on, we outsourced education. We thought the outsourcing will do. You know, the times of outsourcing, we thought we could even outsource education. Whereas education, a skill may be outsourced, where you learn a skill. If I'm not a good carpenter, I can go to a carpenter and learn from. But after that, I have to practice it. I think in our education system, because of very brilliant schools, the parents decided to outsource the education, schooling or learning to schools and outside the homes, and abnegated their own responsibility of passing on the learning to their own children. I think just because we paid a hefty fee, we thought we could buy it. We could buy education. To me, that is not education. That's literacy. That you can do today on Google. Today, you can sit at home and read, learn languages. Today, with this internet facility, even at home, you can be self-skilled. I think what we really gone deficient is that we outsourced education far too much. The role of the parents and the elders, I think we diminished. We eliminated or we weakened it. And the next generation start to think, my parents are outdated. What will they teach me? Because they're not up to speed. So I think what we've lost out on two things is self-education and home learning. Moment we improve our self-learning and home learning, then the school learning will be add on more for qualifying, and add additional research knowledge rather than the only source of learning. This is what I think Indian civilization was more on self-learning, more on home learning. And the teacher was an add-on, a guide, rather than be one and all. I think what we've done is we put every pressure, all the eggs in one basket, which is a school, college, or university. What about home learning? What about self-learning? What about self-discovery, self-research, self-exploration, self-reflection? I think we forgot the self. We forgot the self.
Upen, you're unmuted.
So, Dr. Bedi, there are 17 co-authors who wrote this book, Break Free to Stand Power. They're all online, international people. There's only one male, 16 female. It itself is a huge thing. So any message for those people, all international people out there?
I think COVID has brought us back home. It has sent us back home and made us realize the value of home and family and support systems at home. It's also made us realize the value of friends, the strengths of friends. It's also made us realize the power of communication. The power, I think, scientists made, and also the value for health. Wealth, to follow health and not wealth before. Many wealthy people have lost their lives to COVID today. The wealth, all the world over wealth could not save them. So I think it has sent us very important messages that health comes before wealth. Secondly, home comes before outside. Home food is more important than any other stuff which you may eat outside. Friends are more valuable and communication is the key. It sent us very good messages, if you understand them.
So it is inward process now.
Sorry?
It is inward now rather than outward.
Yes.
Great.
It's inward for outward, not outward only.
Great. You know what? It's been awesome time with you. Always, I get tons of energy. I run faster every day once I think and talk to you. Less is more was discussion we had 2009. I think that meant more now today, that within limited resources, we can do wonders. So thank you so much, Dr. Bedi. I know you are super, super, super busy, and this time I will cherish rest of my life. Thank you so much.
I want to thank Ujala for reconnecting us. I'm very happy to reconnect, and I want to thank Ujala for having connected us. And Ujala, as you know, is doing very well, leading the Navjyoti India Foundation towards more and more new ventures and new avenues.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank Ujala also for connecting us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bedi.
Especially Ujala for connecting us. Thank you so much.
And I wanted to thank Isha also. Isha also, she did a wonderful job. She's making sure that, right communication going to right people. That's amazing. You got an awesome.
Yes, I also wish to, both of us jointly need to thank Isha Arora for technologically connecting us, while Ujala connected us by our old friendship. Isha is a newcomer. She runs the social media from Rajnivas, and she's the one who's taking care of such a smooth communication. It's because of her technical skill and her love for what she does. That's my team member, Isha Arora.
Wherever you go, you create awesome people, awesome teams. They are best performer, and they only carry memories with them. I have seen all of them for the last 20 years.